What's going on, everybody? This is Drew here. I want to welcome you all to a brand new episode of Phoenix Down. This is Phoenix Down 120.1, and we're continuing our playthrough of Yakuza Like a Dragon. Today I have with me Matt.
Hello.
Matt is currently overseas. He's been playing this game remotely, playing on the cloud, I guess, right?
Well, it's been interesting. I actually have been playing this ever since I left from the downloaded copy onto my laptop. So,
Okay.
except for the couple of times where this game would not start for me.
Huh.
And I have, luckily, the backup of playing it from the cloud. And it is very interesting how much faster this runs from the cloud when I have a good connection, but how poorly it runs from the cloud when I don't have a good connection. So when I tried to play this once with a bad connection and everything was low res, and I have basically a line traveling top to bottom on my screen to try to maneuver the one screen to the next, so I had a lot of screen tearing.
Yeah.
When I run it from my laptop, it's smooth but slow. But when I run it from the cloud, it was either terrible or it was running at what felt like triple speed. So
Yeah.
it's been quite the variety of experiences playing this game. But I'm shocked my laptop can handle it. But I'm glad I have a way to play it overseas. Definitely.
There you go. Yeah. I've been playing exclusively on my Xbox. I take that back. I had to work on Saturday. And I said, you know what? It's night. Nothing going on. Let me be the irresponsible security officer that I am.
Yeah.
And I broke out my phone and I played some on the xCloud with the touch controls on my phone. It worked fine.
What's the verdict?
It's fine. If I was playing a regular Yakuza game, it probably would have been worse. Trying to, actually button mash and do attack combos. But because this is a turn-based game, it's not too bad. You just, you're flicking through menus, basically. And since this is cutscene heavy, it's almost like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, same. I only played about 15 minutes or so on my phone once, but it was more manageable than I expected. It was good.
Yeah, they've done a decent job with the xCloud stuff, especially with playing with touch controls, with the games that offer touch controls.
And especially compared to some of the remote play I've done on the PlayStation, which I think I've tried that before on the podcast, and the best it's been is barely acceptable, whereas this is can be pretty decent.
Yeah, I think you did Shenmue that way.
Yeah, trying to do that, that crate loader. I was just driving all over the place. I couldn't drive that thing in a straight line to save my life because of all the lag.
Nice. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so you're going to have to bear in mind I don't remember a lot of this. I'm going to summarize as best as possible. The last thing we did was we finally got ourselves a roof over our heads. So Namba and Ichi finally got themselves a job, basically being the bouncer / protector of this soapland, and they live on the apartment above it. They catch back up with Adachi. So Adachi shows back up. And he's basically like, they kicked me off the force after our little fiasco. So I'm also out of a job. And so he joins the party again, rejoins the party. And so now we're 3 down on our luck people trying to find a job. And that, I find it endearing that this game is taking this path of, these guys have nothing, so we're just going to focus on them getting jobs. And it feels a little bit like it feels a little bit like Mad Max in that sense, where Mad Max never wants to get involved in any of this stuff. He's never really the main character. He's always just thrown into the mix of this craziness that's going on. I feel like that's how this story's going so far. Now, don't get me wrong, Ichi does want to throw himself into it. But at the beginning, he's just trying to make a living. And
Trying
I
to
find
make a
that a
living.
little
He
endearing.
wants to be the hero.
Yeah, he wants to be the hero. Whether it be, getting a job or getting a cat out of a tree, it doesn't matter. He just wants to be known as a hero, basically. So, yeah, we go back to Hello Work, and Hello Work points us in the direction of yet another soap land. We go to a different soap land this time, which is ran by this guy, Nonomiya is his name. And to begin with, this guy seems like a complete and utter douchebag. He is horrible to his workers. He owns multiple things. Like, I know he owns a restaurant. I know he owns this soap land. He owns a lot of things. But to begin with, everybody's like, I'm not working for this guy. So both Adachi and Namba are like, I'm not working with this guy. He's a douchebag. He treats his clients, or not clients, but his workers horribly. But I keep almost saying Kiryu. It's not Kiryu.
Yeah, it's only
Ichiban.
Ichi that really is excited to. The only one that says yes and says yes, we'll help you. I'll work for you.
Yeah.
And he says we just need a job, but he also then says, I think pretty explicitly, like, well, this is the kind of place I grew up in, so he's not that bad relative to some of what I've seen in the past.
Exactly. So, kind of our first big order is he has a worker. He has a prostitute that he uses that is calling out a lot and being very flaky when it comes to working and bringing in money. And so he believes that she is basically seeing one of her Johns outside of work and basically, getting kickbacks instead of having to pay the pimp. You can just make the money yourself. And so he wants the guys to investigate this. So we then have to go and investigate and see if she's actually doing this. And the whole time Adachi and Namba are like, I don't want to work for this guy. I don't know why you are so attracted to this dude wanting to work for him. He's probably just screwing people over anyway. But we do a little investigating. We use Adachi's detective skills to basically eavesdrop on a conversation she's having. She's meeting this guy who we think is the John. And it seems to be he is extorting her. It comes off because we don't hear the whole conversation, but it
The
seems
awkward
like
drop of the phone in the plant.
Yeah,
Just so they can overhear the conversation.
exactly. But we don't hear it, but it sounds like this guy is running this this retirement home, and come to find out, this guy is running the retirement home, and it's a very prestigious place. You got to have a lot of money to even get in it, and they were talking about some kind of surgery that she has to pay money for to get that surgery for her father. And she's been doing a lot of stuff, getting a lot of money to pay for this surgery to save her father. And apparently she has like 2 or 3 days left before they can't do anything about it. So we go to look into this because it seems like she needs help. It doesn't seem like she's running around with a John she needs help with something. So we're going to have to go and investigate this place. We go to it. We can't even get in. They're like, no, you can't get in here without like an invitation or an appointment or something. And they're like, okay, something's up with this place. What kind of retirement home won't let people even come in? So we then go back to Hello Work and get jobs at the retirement home.
I feel like this is the game so far. Needing
right?
to do something, going undercover with a job, and then, and then sorting it out from the inside.
Yeah, exactly. So we go inside, and it takes a couple of days actually. But what everybody gathers while Ichi's pretending to be a janitor, he discovers that there's a secret room on the top floor where they keep all their prestigious patients. And he notices that this woman is being led into this room, and she starts screaming. And so Ichi's like, what the hell is going on here? So we go back, we tell all the guys, we reconvene, and we talk about it, and they're like, okay, I'm getting in that room tomorrow, because whatever happened to her is going to happen to the lady's father if we don't help. So next day, we break into the room. The father is there, and they're about to inject him with something. And Ichi stops him, and we have this big, massive fight. Fight a bunch of guys. The guy that met with the girl, the one we thought was the John, come to find out, he's actually a mid-ranking member of the Siryu clan, which is part of the Yakuza. And Ichi's basically like, okay, you're coming with me. I'm taking you to your boss, and I'm turning you in. Either that, or I'm just going to go tell him myself. So we have to go and talk to this Siryu clan's boss. And we just walk on in. Everybody seems okay with it. They're going to have a meeting with us. And we sit down with him, and there's the captain that's there. He wears the glasses. I can't remember what his name is. And then there's the old man, the family patriarch. And he hates the fact that Ichi and his band are here, because he has revealed to them the shame that has been brought to the family. So he's disappointed not only with his member, but he's also disappointed that this whole thing even happened. And it seemed like there was a little bit of honor involved there, especially with Ichi talking with him.
Yeah, definitely some respect.
He's like, dude, you're the kind of guy I admire. You're the kind of guy who made me want to join the Yakuza. So it seems like they have definitely a level of respect there. So, after all that's said and done, the captain of the Siryu clan, can't remember this dude's name. We see him later on. Ryuhei? Is that his name?
Ryuhei Hoshino.
Hoshino. Got it. He comes with us to the retirement home. We meet up with the lady. Tell her, look, here's all your money back. We're going to make arrangements for your father to be moved once you figure out where you're going to put him. And you can take as long as you want, is what he said. But we are closing down this location. And she's like, well, what about the surgery? And they're like, don't worry about it. Come to find out, it was just a miscalculation. He's going to be totally fine. Yeah. So what they were basically doing was that they were extorting people out of money and telling them that they need this special surgery. And if they don't get the surgery, then the person dies. What they were actually doing was killing the people. And then they could bleed money out of the people paying to have their family members there, then cashing in on insurance checks. It's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of money though, because they're like, oh, this is the only way that they can make more money once once the guest dies, and they can just keep
Yeah.
killing people and keep stacking those checks.
Yep. And then we got a new spot to bring somebody else in. So yeah, after that, she leaves happy, and then we go back to the soap plan to tell Nonomiya the great news. And when we go inside, we find him hanging by his neck on a noose. Apparently, he killed himself.
Apparently.
Yep. After that, the next chapter begins, and two things. One, we are at Nonomiya's funeral. For men who have zero money, where did they get brand new suits?
Yeah, and when they drink, why, how on earth, with that little money, do they like to drink at bars rather than just buying some beer and drinking it in an alleyway or something?
Exactly. Which Adachi does bring that up
Yeah.
later on. But yeah. That's my good point right there. Where'd they get the suits?
Yeah, they don't exactly have a network to borrow it from, nor can they afford to buy it.
So, while at the memorial, we run into who we think is the girl from the soap land that we had just helped. Nanoha was her name. But it's not Nanoha, it's her twin sister, which is Saeko. Saeko
in these games.
Not a very common or a very common name?
They seem to be much more common than, at least in my life.
Oh, yeah. But Saeko also worked for Nonomiya, and she was a bartender for one of his bars that he had. And she has some information. Basically, I was on the phone with Nonomiya when he died. I heard what sounded like a struggle, and people were yelling. What was it?
Laoma.
Laoma.
Yep.
Yeah. And Adachi realized that immediately. It's the Liumang, which is the Chinese mafia.
Yeah, and Laoma specifically is the nickname of the boss.
Yes, the boss of the Liumang. So we're like, okay, why would the Chinese come in and kill a guy who was in Siryu clan territory? What did they have on him? And Saiko's like, I don't know, but I know he didn't kill himself. And her, along with the rest of the gang, decide they're going to investigate this and figure out what's going on. So now Saeko joins the party. We now have 4 party members, which I believe is the full party that we can have.
You know how many different potential party members we have, if we can have 4 at a time? Or is it only these 4?
No. There are more that you can get. I know for certain. So there are 3 more party members you will get throughout the story. I'm not going to say them because some of them are spoilers. And then there is 1 secret party member that you can gain as well. I will tell you the secret party member because more than likely neither of us will actually get her. It is the girl we run into who runs the Ichiban confectionery.
Oh, really?
Yes. If you are able to get the business Ichiban confectionery up to rank number 1, she joins your party.
Yeah. Seems like she also wants us to be her boyfriend. Well, certainly
So there are,
her grandmother
from
does.
what, well, so that is one of the love interests in the game. So apparently Ichiban can date somebody. There's a few people that I know of that you can date. Apparently you can get close to Saeko. You can get close to the Ichiban confectionery lady. You can also get really close to the girl at the vocational school. And then there is also the woman who runs the mechanic shop that fixes up your armor and weapons.
Mhm.
There may be more, but I can't remember. I know those for certain. So yeah, so now we have our fourth party member. I believe at this point we're also introduced to changing jobs. So I have to ask, what jobs have you switched to, Matt?
Yeah, the only one I've done was the recommended change Psycho to an idol.
Okay.
So I've done that. I was a little concerned at first because she was so far behind. I don't know what everyone else was, maybe 6 or 7 or 8 at the time. And she reset her job rank back down to level 1.
Right.
But with a fair number of side fights, I did a good chunk of grinding over this section, and she was right back up to where she needed to be. That's the only one I've done, given the comments from last time we recorded. But
Mm-hmm.
I would like to go back and see what the other job classes actually could bring to balance out the party. I think specifically with Adachi, I don't feel like I'm necessarily getting a ton out of Adachi, although I do really like a couple of his attacks.
I really like that attack he has, the reckless charge.
Yeah, where he puts his arms out and like clotheslines everybody.
Yes, that is
Yeah.
awesome. The best thing to do is hit the guy in the back line. Select that guy, and he will just ram through everybody. It is fantastic. But I did change jobs with every character.
Oh, with everyone. Whoa.
Yeah. So I changed jobs with every character, and I still don't have much with Adachi, and there's a specific reason for that, which I will get into. So, Ichiban, I changed him originally to the Breaker, the Break Dancer. And I leveled him. I ranked his up to about 4 or 5, but then I was able to. So his stuff unlocks, like certain jobs unlock based on his personality stats. I was able to get one of his personality stats up to where I could become a foreman. So a foreman is like he uses like a sledgehammer. I switched Adachi to the Enforcer, and I
Seems to be
switched.
his role. That seems like a good fit.
From what I understand, that's probably his best role. It's the best role for him since he is kind of like your tank,
Yeah.
and the Enforcer uses a shield, and that's what's holding me back with Adachi. Everybody else, so every job has a specific weapon, right?
Mhm.
The Enforcer uses a shield. Since changing to the Enforcer for Adachi, I have yet to find a new shield. I'm still using the starting shield. I can't make one. I've tried making one over there at the workshop. Can't do it yet. So Adachi's not doing great damage unless I'm using skills. And then I switched Namba to the Musician. That's actually really good too. In fact, it fits Namba because I'm switching him from a healer type character since I've got an idol. So I switched Seiko to the idol. So the musician feels like a buff and debuffer character.
Yep. Yeah, kind of support
He's
magic.
he's kind of like support magic. And he does really good. He actually does some pretty good damage too. So I'm kind of sticking with that for now. The main reason why I wanted to switch Ichi to the foreman is because as soon as you switch to the foreman, job, you learn the ability to smash walls, and there are certain walls in this game that have very valuable items behind them.
Oh, no way. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, and there's also a couple of shops that open up if you smash a wall in the overworld.
Kool-Aid Man style.
And you only have to switch to the job, and then you can switch back to it. He learns that automatically. So switching jobs, what happens is like a lot of your base stats, you'll see your base stats go down, but as you rank up, the base stats go back up. At certain levels, you will get a stat increase, like plus 10 to hit points, right? Or something like that. Mm-hmm. Those are permanent. So when you rank up, those are just for the job. But if you look at all the skills that you can learn at certain levels or certain ranks, there are nodes that are red. So there's green nodes and red nodes. The red nodes, when you learn that ability, you keep it even if you change jobs. And then there's also nodes that don't give you a skill but give you a permanent increase to your stats, like better attack, faster agility, that kind of thing. And those will carry over to different jobs as well.
Seems good.
So I've been using the foreman, and I'm probably going to switch back because the foreman, while it's okay, he's a pretty heavy hitter kind of character. He's also very slow. So I'm thinking of going back to the hero. Because I hear that the hero, I think it's the second to last, or maybe the second red node ability that you keep forever, is he gets an instant, if he gets KO'd, he gets up with like a little amount of hit points left. So you don't get an instant game over. And I want to get that ability.
I'm going to have to do some exploration there.
No, definitely do. I mean, there's a ton of jobs that you can switch to. So there are female-only jobs and there are male-only jobs. So it really depends on what you want to choose. Apparently, there's also DLC jobs that there's a paid DLC where you can get like different jobs as well.
Yeah, this change in general kind of highlights these 3 chapters feel so much different than the first 3. It feels so much more like an RPG, and this kind of job switching really kind of highlights that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I'm really loving this game. I say I'm really loving this game, but we need to talk about the next dungeon that we go through.
Yeah.
Holy crap. So anyway, back to the story. So we're trying to get close to Liumang, and the only person that we can think of that we could shake down for information would be that one dude who we fought in the homeless camp, the guy who was shaking down all the homeless people. Luckily, we know where he's at. He's at this hostess bar, but we can't get in. They won't let us in unless we've been invited by somebody who works there. Well, Sayako's like, I'll join. So she gets a job. I swear, these people get more jobs than anybody. She gets a job as a hostess at this hostess bar and then invites us in. So we go in and we find the guy. I can't remember what the guy's name is. I can see his face right now, but I can't think of what his name is. Of course, we get into a big fight with him, beat him up. We sit him down and we're like, look, we have nothing against you. We just want your boss. And he's like, they will kill me if I tell you guys this. He'll kill you anyway because I'm going to tell him that you've been shaking down homeless people. And so he tells us, okay, fine. They run this operation. They're running this operation in the docks. I don't know much about it. All I know is that they're shipping they're shipping stuff from mainland China here and selling it to restaurants and stuff like that. All right, let's go get a job at the warehouse, shall we?
Yeah, this really is their go-to. Wasn't it weird? Like they met the guy. I think his name was Zhang.
Is it Zhang? I can't remember.
Wasn't it? Or maybe it was just me, but I thought it was strange that they start talking about him. They're like, "Hey, this is the one guy we need to find," and then they're like, "Oh, I think that's him right over there."
Yeah,
and he just happens to be walking past them while they're trying to figure out how to find him. And
they're talking about him.
And they're like, "Oh, that's weird that he's right there when I'm talking about him." I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Is this a joke, or is this something that's going to get explained, or is this just Yakuza humor? I don't really know.
This is, I feel like, Yakuza humor. Because we've had stranger things happen in Yakuza games before.
Yeah, definitely.
But, yeah. So we go get a job at the warehouse. All four of us. So Sayako is kind of like the front desk clerk. So she's the one handling the money. And she notices that they are paying these Chinese with Chinese money. And they seem to have an infinite amount of it. They go have the safe. They run out of the safe. Dude's like, all right, I got to go to the bank. He literally goes upstairs and comes back down about 5 minutes later and has a more, yeah, right. So we realize, okay, these guys, something's going on here. Something's fishy.
Also, they've been doing like an investigation into their financials or something like that. And they're like, we don't really understand. It doesn't seem like they're selling these things at a high enough value to make a profit.
Yeah, they're basically breaking even. So why the hell are they even doing this? Well, come to find out, the stuff is not good. It's all fake, low grade crap. So they're selling this stuff to the Japanese, making basically what they thought they had paid for, but it's actually way more. So they're just making hand over fist.
Wait, I thought all the stuff they were selling actually was high quality though.
Is that so? How were they? Where was the scam?
So the scam was that they were buying high end stuff for like 10,000, but they were paying for it all with the counterfeit bills.
That's right. They were doing counterfeit bills.
So they were getting it for free and then still selling it for the 10,000 that they would have paid for it at retail, basically.
Right. They're using fake money and getting real money.
Yeah, a bit of laundering.
That's right. Sorry, I'm getting completely screwed up. I'm doing the exact opposite. So yeah, and that's where we figured out, hey, that's where this counterfeit money's coming from that we found that was mysteriously put into our pocket when we were shot.
Well, we don't know who put it there or why yet, right?
No, we don't know who put it there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got to get our hands on some of that fake money. If we can do that, we got all the evidence we need. Well, unfortunately, that plan goes awry. Sayako gets caught taking money, and we have a big fight blowout. I mean, they bring a freaking tractor in and try and ram us with it, and unfortunately, the tractor blows up and the whole warehouse blows up. A whole lot of crap goes down here. We all get knocked out. That chapter ends. So that's one thing about this game that wasn't in the other Yakuza games. Most Yakuza games, at the end of a chapter, it never ended like during an action beat. They always ended after something had resolved or kind of left it on a cliffhanger, story cliffhanger. This one, a chapter will just end after you get into a fight. And it's like, oh, well, what's next? Kind of thing.
The first few chapters, I thought they were kind of wrapping things up, and then each chapter felt like a different mission or a different section of the game. But these last few, I feel like, have blended together quite a bit more.
Right. So yeah, going into chapter 6, we find ourselves, or Ichiban finds himself in basically what looks like a torture dungeon. And
Chapter
they
5
got
was long.
everybody.
Like, not tons happened story wise, but I don't know how long it took you to finish chapter 5, but it had to be 2.5 hours for me, easily.
Yeah, it was a while. It was definitely a while. There was a lot of walking involved. And
Yeah.
I will say this, during this time, I have come to the realization, do not be afraid to use taxis. Taxis are 700 and something yen. I can easily get that in one fight.
There was also a part, I think it was in chapter 5, where you have to be geared up to go in, and they're like, make sure
Yeah,
you put on
they.
your armor.
Yeah, well, not only that, make sure you put on your armor, but that we also got the whole, hey, before you travel here, you might want to be level 15 or higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm hoping they continue to do that and say, "Whoa, are you ready for this? Are you sure you're ready for this?"
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is go into a long ass dungeon like this one that's coming up and be under leveled.
Yep. Yeah, I felt like I was buying armor. I wasn't sure what armor to buy. I feel like I did about 4 or 5 trips out to buy stuff, equip it, and then went back and it's like, no, you're still not wearing enough. And then I had to go back out, buy armor, come back again, and that was probably part of the reason this chapter took so long for me.
So some of the good stuff that I did, I guess I should go ahead and talk about it. So we were introduced also to the Ichiban Confectionery, which is a business that Monomiya was also supposed to take over, but unfortunately he died. So Ichi is like, I'll run it for you. And
And
so
once
you,
again, everyone else is like, no, no, this doesn't make any sense.
yeah, why would you do this? You know nothing about business. You know nothing about baked goods. Why are you doing this? Because she needs our help, guys. We're
He's
like, okay, well, you have fun with that. Bye.
yeah, and he's a bit of a hothead.
Yeah. So yeah, you learn about this a little bit, how to basically run the business, improving the building itself, improving the marketing for it, hiring people to work at the shops. You can also build new or buy new properties and fix them up and run them as well. I spent probably about an hour and a half to 2 hours doing this.
Mm.
Did you do any of this?
Yeah, I did the first couple of sections. Probably only spent 40 minutes on it or so.
Okay.
Right.
Did you do a shareholders meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, you definitely knew if you did a shareholders meeting. So, holy crap, dude. If you thought the other Yakuza games had a lot in them, you don't know anything until you play Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon has so much in it. It has a full-on business management system that is not half bad. It's fun.
Yeah.
It has all of this stuff. Like you can take quizzes at the vocational school. You can play friggin' Mario Kart. I did the Dragon Kart stuff too.
I didn't find that stuff.
There's
Where was
it's
it?
so the Dragon Kart's at the far top right of the map. I highly suggest you don't go there because you're going to run into like level 30 enemies.
Oh shit.
I just started running around, and it's at the park. I found the guy, and he's like, "Yeah, you want to do Dragon Kart?" And I'm like, "What the hell is Dragon Kart?" And I did the first race, and it's straight up Mario Kart. Like you run over tiles, you get items, you can throw items at people. It's ridiculous. And then there's a whole story mode to it too. Like you run into other rival kart racers and they want to take you down and you got to like win these certain cups and work your way up the ranks. It's crazy.
Within a game within a game.
There are multiple games within this game. So I did the business management stuff. So not only are you doing a business management where you're hiring and firing employees, getting their stats up, training them, improving your buildings. I bought a building, I bought a bar and was running a bar as well. Then you have shareholder meetings. This is the most ridiculous stuff I've ever seen in my life. The shareholder meetings, you bring some of your employees with you to the shareholder meetings. You choose the one to have good stats because you have to field questions from the shareholders on why your business sucks. And you'll have to answer questions and you have to counter with other answers. So if they ask a blue question, you have to counter with a red question. Or if they ask a red question, you got to counter with a green. And it's like a weird like rock, paper, scissors, but there's also like a Phoenix Wright-esque thing to it where you're throwing out accusations at people and you can profusely apologize to them and tell them that we're very sorry, that the business is horrible, and it's ridiculous. Also, one of your best employees is the chicken. The chicken is one of the best employees, and you bring him along, or her along. You bring her along to the meetings, and the chicken can respond to the shareholders.
Isn't the chicken also a pound mate?
Yes, the chicken can be a pound mate. So I have a pound mate that is a crawfish. I can call upon a crawfish to help me in battle because I saved a crawfish in a sub-story.
I only did the first part of that where you like launch it into the river.
Right. So I'll tell you this when you finish it. So that the fisherman guy who's sad that he lost his crawfish, he was going to eat it. He was raising it to eat. And then Ichiban's like, no, dude, I just went like through hell and back to get this thing back to you. I'm taking it with me. So I bring it with me, and it thanks you by becoming a pound mate.
So funny.
It's ridiculous. So it's great. Yeah.
Love it.
Anyway, yeah, so I did a good amount of the... So you get bonuses after every shareholder meeting, and... I racked up probably about 300,000 yen in about an hour and a half.
Nice.
So I went on a friggin' shopping spree. I had just switched to my new jobs, so I went to the high-end place. It looks like a ladies' store where you can buy like, designer bags and stuff, but they also have like designer sledgehammers. So I equipped myself with that stuff and was doing some really good damage.
It's noticeable too. I've had a few good weapon upgrades that really seem to increase the output. I feel like Adachi, I was using whatever his starting weapon is for a long time, and then I noticed I had two for him. One of them, I'm not even sure what it is. It's like a small infinity-shaped thing that he's holding in his hand.
Yeah.
But that was easily a 50% increase to his damage. So it's nice that they are actually impactful because sometimes they are only aesthetic, which I think is funny to mention because of the way that their aesthetics are standard when you're walking around, but then change when they're in battle.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't totally sure. I'm like, are the things that I buy showing up in the game, or could it not handle it, or why wouldn't they be visible? But it's part of this like battle mode is different from real life.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So everybody's dressed differently in battle. I've got Namba, who's a musician, who's dressed up like a hippie. And he can play his guitar and play songs. He's basically a bard, and he can play songs that can like do massive damage to like the whole area, or he can heal people, or by playing "We Are the World" and stuff. It's crazy. This game's nuts.
Like
I got
Prince's
a
Sonic
Dachi and like
Attacks.
full. What's that?
Like Prince's Sonic Attacks from the
Yeah,
book.
it's like Prince's Sonic Attacks. Yeah, and there's like a whole like new meter with that job. You have a voltage meter, and I think the higher you get, the more songs you play, the more effective you are in battle.
Hmm.
Dude, there's like a lot of stuff here, man. Like
There's a lot of layers.
different stuff. Yeah, a lot of layers. Anyway, yeah, back to being tortured. So yeah, we're strung up. We're tied up, or like we're basically in hooks. Not in hooks, but we're in chains.
Chains. Yeah.
Yeah, hanging. And the second income, the captain of the Leo Mong, I think, was that what he was? The captain,
Yeah, I
not the
think so.
ringleader.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
the. What's his name? Is it Takabe? Takabe?
Takabe.
Maybe.
You talking about the Siryu clan guy?
Um. Yeah, that was Surya Clan.
Yeah, Mabuchi is this guy's name.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that's a little bit chubbier.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So he's interrogating us, and at the same time, he's also filming us with his phone, and he's giving us a ton of information. So, Ichi's like, "Did you kill Nonomiya?" He's like, "I sure did." And he's like, "You're part of the Siryu clan, aren't you?" And he's like, "I am definitely not part of the Siryu clan."
Can't say this any
And
more clearly.
yeah, and he's like, "Well, you know what? It's fine. I planted the seeds, and I've watered them, and now I'm watching them blossom." And he's like, "Yeah, I think we're done here." And then gets his little video and walks away. And the foreman that was working in the warehouse, he's the guy who's basically torturing us, and I guess has been ordered to kill us. I'm not sure. He's getting ready to do his work to us. He cuts Ichi's chest with a knife, and
I
before
like
he
some
gets
of the
ready
permanence as well, where you've still got your scar from the original bullet wound,
yeah,
and
yeah,
now you've got this slice as well.
mm-hmm. And he's getting ready to. I think he's getting ready to stab Adachi, and this guy comes in. He's like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" And the guy turns around. He's like, "Who the hell are you?" And it's a guy wearing a mask. He's wearing like a surgical mask. He's got white hair. I remember that.
Hair all black, wearing all black like a ninja.
Yep. And he's like, "I've got orders from Mabuchi. You gotta let these guys go." And he uncuffs Ichiban. And he tells Ichiban, "That's as best as I can do." And they're like, "Whoa, who the hell are you?" And he runs away. And so Ichi's like, "All right, time to die." So we have to fight all these guys. And we're able to get everybody out of their chains, get all our stuff back. And so begins one of the longest dungeons ever. Holy crap.
Yeah. This was probably three distinct play sessions for me
Really?
to get through all of it. Yeah, I didn't end up. I thought maybe I could bash it all out in one, but I was just like, I don't know when it's going to end, so I just kind of paused it, and the next day came back and did another hour and a half, and then paused it, and then the last day I kind of finished it all up.
Yeah, it took me 2 sessions. I made it to like the halfway point, which has a save point, and came back to it the next day. But yeah, this is huge. Like I think I leveled up like almost 3 times while in this dungeon. Um, I can't. There wasn't much to say about it. I did run into so that we got the silver key, which we can open up the silver safes. Right. There's a silver safe in this dungeon. When you open it, an enemy jumps out of it, and this enemy was level 20.
Yeah, he was tough.
Yeah. I actually did 2 enemies in this dungeon like that. The other one wasn't that bad, but the first one I was like, "Whoa, I have made a mistake."
And I might have considered it a mistake, but at this point in the game, I think I've already opened maybe 5 or 6 of these silver safes before he jumped out. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm like, all right, that was a pain, but there's no way I'm going to give up maybe an average of 5 or 6 really good items because these silver safes tend to have pretty good weapons and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
No way I'm going to give up all that to avoid a fight. So I'm like, there may be hidden enemies, but it's just that's just par for the course. Going to have to deal with it.
Right. So, um, yeah. I mean, I ran through this. I don't think I skipped a single thing. Like I made sure to check all the corners, get all the items and stuff like that, because you're getting a lot of crafting materials, which I really want to go back to the workshop and see what I can make.
And
Because
I
it
like
seems
that they,
like.
yeah.
Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I was going to say I
No, you go
like
ahead.
that they put. I like that the hidden stuff, and a lot of times there'd be an extra room with a silver safe, but 3 or 4 enemies. I like that they put that in a place that was visible, but also like obviously not the right way to go,
Yeah.
right? Because they didn't actually show up on the map, I don't think, or at least not when you're just walking through normally. You have to like turn down that hallway before it would show up. So I kind of like again just that clarity of knowing that I'm off on a tangent room and I'm going to do this. It's not the way to go, but it's going to be its own almost like tiny dungeon within a dungeon.
Yeah.
And just for that clarity, so that I can know that I'm deciding to do that, and then once I'm back in the main hallway, then I'm back on the on the progressive part of it. And they could have easily done it where it just looked like another hallway and it wasn't kind of obviously different, but I think that would have made it more confusing. So I like the way they handled this part of it.
Yeah. I'm hoping they continue with that. It seems like the dungeons all kind of feel samey.
Yeah, so
Granted,
far.
we've only had 2, but hopefully they stick with. You can make them long if you want to, just don't make them a maze. The last thing I want to do is get lost in one of these.
Yeah, exactly. The only time I got lost so far was which chapter is it when you have to go up and down the ladder within the building, and I feel like I kept going around in kind of this U-shaped area.
Oh right. Yeah, that was Oh, yeah, we totally forgot about that. That was kind of a dungeon too. The Siryu clan headquarters.
Yeah. I did get a
Yeah.
little bit lost in there because I'm like I feel like I've been in every room now. Um,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as long. Like this one is like categorically way longer.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I
so,
spent well over an hour in this dungeon.
oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
I definitely probably spent about 2 total.
yeah. But we did have a boss fight at the end. We had to fight the foreman one more time. He's in an excavator, and we have to fight the excavator. They even make the joke of what am I supposed to do? I guess just punch it.
Yes.
So we punch the excavator. We knock him out of it. Did you do 2 rounds of the excavator, or just one?
I think 2.
Yeah, I did too as well. Apparently, you can beat him in just one round. So, but yeah, after that, we're able to go back up to the surface, and we have the realization that why are they doing this, right? Why this whole big ruse? And we come to the conclusion that Mabuchi is trying to start a war between the three, or at least between the Siryu clan and the Liumang. And I think Ichiban either gets a phone call or calls somebody and finds out that two of the Siryu clan guys were just gunned down in the street by the Liumang, like in broad daylight.
Oh, yeah. Which you actually see in that full cutscene.
Yeah. And that angers the captain of the Siryu clan, and he's like, "It's war. We're going on." So they're on their way to I guess Chinatown, but it's not Chinatown. I can't remember what it's called. Restaurant Alley, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have to rush over there. We rush over there, and the destruction's already started. He's already fighting people, killing people. We have to fight a few of the guys, but we make it there. He's there, and he's wanting to. He's calling out the leader. And Ichi's like, "You need to stop this. You're getting played. It's all just a ruse. The guy is trying to start a war when neither side has done anything, which doesn't really matter to him. Yeah, the other side did do something. Liumang shot two of my guys.
Is this when he shows him the video as well that Mabuchi had made, or was that earlier?
No, that was wasn't that the guy, the Zhao? Wasn't that the guy we run into, the boss? Did he show that or no?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I can't remember. But yeah, the video basically that Mabuchi made, he edited it to basically look at that. Ichi was like, "Yeah, I'm with the Siryu clan," so that way he could show his men, and then the men would be like, "Okay, well, we're going to go take out the Siryu clan, start a war." And so we get into a fight. We have a fight with the captain. Once again, I can't remember his name. Matt?
It's Takabe.
Takabe. Didn't think this guy was too bad. He did heal his team a little bit.
Yeah.
But after I took him out, there was no more healing. So I was able to beat him relatively easily. And then after we beat him, we tell him just to get the hell out of here. But we're stopped. We're stopped by the boss, the head guy of the Liumang, which is Zhao. And this guy seems very interesting. He comes across to me a little bit like Majima.
Yeah, just a little bit. He seems a little bit unhinged.
Right. And he's like, he said, I'm not, what he keeps saying, he says it multiple times, "I'm not here to hear a sermon. I don't want to hear a sermon." And he's like, "Well, I'm telling you the truth. Your guy, your captain, is starting a war. Where's he at? Sounds like he's betrayed you. Sounds like he started a war and is now hunkering down, waiting for the smoke to clear to see if you're dead. He can swoop in and take over, maybe?" And he's like, "Well, you're going to need some hard evidence before I start taking in somebody like this. I can't just listen to some rando who has been involved with stuff that has screwed me over. So I can't just take you with your word." And so they're like, "Okay, well, what do you suggest we do?" And he says, "There's only one group of people who know what is going on in this entire city. It's the shadowy people of the, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Yeah, though it sounds to me like they're saying Jamajul,
Jamajul.
but it looks more like
Jamajul.
Giamajul or something.
Jamajul. Jamajul.
Yeah,
Which is
I keep
the
thinking
Korean
Gabagool.
mafia. Yeah. Gabagool. But it's the Korean mafia. The ones we've ran into before. The ones with the crossbows.
Who they assumed that the white-haired ninja had to be from the Jamajul.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, seems like Zhao is going to go want to talk to them to see if they know anything. Which I think is just going to start another fight. And that's the end of chapter 6. And that is where we stopped.
And he says, make sure you get me evidence that Mabuchi killed Nonomiya.
Yes.
Because I don't believe you that he did it.
There you go. Excuse me. I have a couple of emails. First one comes in from Jamie. It's titled An Even Shorter Email. This was actually sent last week. It says, hi guys. I made it back from the weekend without cordyceps. Woo.
Yeah.
As expected, I'm a bit behind. Usually don't stress too much on side questing unless I'm trophy hunting, which I haven't done in years. I mostly try to originally pick up a few quests, but don't go seeking them. My strategy is a bit different this time, though, since you've mentioned it's almost mandatory. But it struck me how difficult that is in this game, at least compared to other games I've played recently. When you're playing Horizon, so many things pop up on your mini-map, it's distracting, and you can't walk 5 steps without someone jumping out at you and asking for your help. Meanwhile, I'm just randomly walking around in this game hoping someone gives me a quest. So all I've done since getting back from my trip is catch a guy pissing in the river, took me 4 fucking tries, and made a bookcase for a kid. I also got the pawn shop cleaned up, but so far I'm just running around fighting guys. I've had one game over, but I made sure not to have much money on me, so it was not a big deal. I do wish there was a way to run away during battle. Even in the old days of Final Fantasy, you could try to escape if you were in over your head. So there is a way to run from battle. You can escape from battle. I can't remember what button it is, but it's one of the triggers, I think.
Yeah, I haven't tried
but
it
I
yet.
can't remember. Yeah, no, I have ran from battle. So when I was going to the kart racing thing, I ran into a level 30 guy, and I said, yeah, I'm out of here. And ran away. So you definitely can run away from battles. There are obviously, you can't run away from boss battles or story battles, but you can run away from random encounters. I know. Loving how the people change based on Ichiban's hero craziness and the weird stuff the characters do in battle. This game is hilarious. Frantically catching up, Jamie. So you may have caught up with us because we did take a week off. And our last email comes in from Dustin. It says, what's up, guys? I don't have much to say, so this will be short. Where did 3 broke guys find money for suits for a funeral? Hey, I asked the exact same question.
Good question.
Did they really have to make the Soplan girl a twin? Could they not just use the original girl as a party member instead of shoehorning a twin into the story? I like the writing of all the characters. They come off as real people with their dialogue. They remind me of some people I actually know when bantering. How about those summons? I wish they didn't cost so much. Haha. I have Ichiban as a breaker, Nanba as a bodyguard, Adachi as an enforcer, and Makuda as an idol. I did not even know what her last name was. I've always just called her Seiko.
Yeah, me too so far.
I also have a special costume equipped. Ichiban as a hero, Namba as Majima, Adachi as Kiryu, and Makoda as Haruka. have from having a previous game save on my system. I had the option to do that as well, but I wanted to stick with their default costumes.
Mm.
That Chapter 6 dungeon was a lot longer than it needed to be.
Agreed.
I've been messing around with the business minigame and doing the shareholder meetings. First couple of times I bombed since it does such a poor explanation of what you're supposed to do. By the third time I understood the basics, but still don't know if I'm doing it the best way possible. Haha. Until next week, Dustin. Thank you for those emails. Yeah, no, there's actually some really good like quick video guides on YouTube that I checked out about how to do the best at the business management minigame. So I just watched those just to get some tips.
Oh, really?
You can make some money doing that, yeah. You can definitely make some money doing that. So, something to explore. The next thing on my list, because I think I currently have about 200,000 yen on me, I'm going to swing by the workshop, see if I can make me some new gear. Particularly a freaking shield instead of the standard first shield you get for Adachi. Because, man, his damage output is way bad compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I think I switched. Is it after the excavator battle that you get a crowbar?
Yes.
I think that's what I've been using for Adachi, and that's been pretty good. Pretty good upgrade over what I had anyway.
He's still... I can't remember what that original class was, or job was. Like,
Yeah.
cop? Ex-cop? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Truth be told, I'm really enjoying this game. I love the structure of it. I think it's fun. And so far, I mean, yeah, we're getting into the craziness of Yakuza, as in, like, you know, the conspiracies and stuff like that. But up to this point, I've kind of liked let's just go do a job.
Yeah. Let's help some people.
It's fun. It's definitely different from the larger than life stuff that the old Yakuza series went through. You know, like instantly into the mafia conspiracies. This one is slowly ramping up to it, and I really like the whole. Like Dustin said, all the characters are written really well, really well.
Yeah, like when you get that evening in the bar with Adachi.
Yeah, so you can actually get that with all your party members. In fact, that's how you level up their affinity to you.
Yeah.
So if you notice when you finish a battle, there's a very small pink bar that fills up at the top of their I guess right there next to their health or where their profile is basically. And it'll eventually get to a lock. When it gets to a lock, that means they're ready to level up their affection toward Ichiban. So you go back to the bar, go back to Survive Bar, and talk to each individual person, and that block will break, and they will get special statuses, like they will earn more experience while not in an active party. Yep. Or other like special abilities and stuff like that. So definitely go back to the Survive Bar, which we didn't talk about. I sent you a text. There is a dead man running the Survive Bar. Did you catch that?
No, I saw the text, but I wasn't sure what you meant.
So next time you're at Survive Bar, go take a look at the bartender.
Yeah, I'll have to do that. I've only been there the one time so far, so I'm sure I've got some links that need to be enhanced.
Yeah. Do I tell you, or do you want to say who it is?
Let me see who it is. I'll be there pretty quickly, I think.
Okay. See if anybody else listening can figure out who's running the Survive Bar. He is a familiar face if you have been playing the Yakuza series. But yeah, that's it.
Swing by and
if
say
you'd like
hi.
to, yeah, swing by. If you'd like to send an email, it is drew@ztgd.com. You can also tweet to us. I am at DMLFury. Matt is at REMGS. And the podcast itself is at ZTGD Phoenix Down. But that's going to be it for us. Until next time, though, I'm Drew.
And I'm Matt.
And we are out of here. You guys have a great week. And we'll be back next week with the continuation of Yakuza Like a Dragon.